I'm Dr. Jordin Wiggins, and this is the Pleasure Principles podcast. Join me on this journey where sex, science, and sensuality meet. Let's change the conversation around sex and pleasure together. Hello, welcome to the Pleasure Principles podcast. I'm Dr. Jordin Wiggins, and I work with women who have it all together on the outside, but there's something missing. They're lacking the connection, intimacy, and great sex that they desire. And I want to let you in on a little secret. Sex isn't just about getting turned on and having it. It's a complex process tied to so many aspects of our body's biology, our experiences like shame, guilt, stress, pain, hormones, and everything in between. Often the women that I work with can't figure out why they aren't having the kind of sex, intimacy, and relationships they wish they were or used to have. And one of the most common foundational cracks I see in the sex lives of women, and you're probably not going to guess this one, maybe you are by the title of this episode, but it's safety and security. Security is a necessary foundation for intimacy, especially for those with more female hearts, cores that love to be cared for. And there really isn't any way around that dynamic. In the yin or feminine energy, women desire safety and security, and men, the masculine, is more wired to protect and provide. And oftentimes, if these roles get disrupted in our relationships, or if we're not honoring them, even in the energetic sense, maybe you're female, you have a feminine core, you desire to be protected and provided for, but you're the higher earner, there's still ways to balance that dynamic in your relationship. I want to preface this episode by saying that I'm going to talk about the nuance of security within a healthy relationship, where you want better sex, or where the sex isn't what it used to be or what you wish it was. Consent and personal safety are always paramount. If you are in an abusive relationship, there is help, and some of the things I'm going to say in this episode will not apply to you. There is a way out. There are professionals that specialize in this area and organizations to support you in your transition out of a relationship, whatever that might look like. I hope my work of teaching women that they deserve love, that they deserve to have their desires met, also helps women to know how worthy they are of love and respect, and abuse is not your fault. So let's talk about security in broad strokes within a relationship. You need different types of security, and different people need them in different ways. And this also ebbs and flows throughout the lifetime of a relationship. So the types of security are emotional, physical, financial, reliability, and one of my favorites is integrity. So one of my biggest turn-ons is, did he do what he said he was going to do? That makes me feel safe in so many areas. And you might be thinking, what do these things have to do with sex? Let's take a step back. The sympathetic nervous system, SNS, and I talk about this in my book, The Pink Canary, turns on when we are faced with an immediate stressor. We hear this called the fight or flight response, and it's activated when our body perceives a threat. If you are sitting by the pool, sipping on a cocktail on a hot summer day, and a snake crawls across the pool deck, you better bet that your sympathetic nervous system is going to get turned on. The sympathetic nervous system can get triggered from anything from opening an email with test results or worrying about someone not texting you back. We're faced with spikes in the SNS daily, and we need it. It's a healthy response to keep us safe, and that's how it's intended. But when we live in a chronic state of stress, that's when we start to see problems. So in this acute stress state, the body undergoes many biochemical hormonal changes. These include adrenaline, cortisol, which are all being pumped out into the bloodstream and causes you to experience the fight or flight symptoms. So if you saw the snake, what's going to happen? Your heart rate is going to increase, your breathing rate's going to increase, your blood pressure is going to go up. And when our SNS is triggered, it suppresses our digestive system. It suppresses immune function. It suppresses pleasure and turn on, because the body is choosing survival in the face of a real or perceived threat over any of these other processes. And it makes us less likely to respond to sexual cues or feel turned on. So my super women who are on all the time, you're probably even sleeping in the SNS state, or you haven't fully shifted into parasympathetic. And this is the balance. We can think of it like a teeter-totter. The SNS is on one side and the parasympathetic is on the other. And you can think of this as the rest and digest system. So they work in conjunction with one another, the SNS and the PNS. But if the SNS is activated, we're suppressing the parasympathetic nervous system because they're not both on at the same time. We need to take a step back and stop living so much of our lives in the SNS arousal state. And think about it, just having our phones attached to us all the time. Some people even have them on their nightstands. Guilty. And my excuse is that I don't have an alarm clock in this in-between house that I'm living in while my other one is being built. Excuses. I'm going to order an alarm clock when I am finished recording this episode. I digress. So we need to carve out time and choose to do things that will allow our bodies to be able to drop into our parasympathetic nervous state so we can feel calm, relax, digest, improve immune function, give our minds and bodies the opportunity to slow down and get turned on. And we need this for our health. You can listen to my series on burnout for more about how the imbalance between sympathetic and parasympathetic impact your health. The parasympathetic response is about relaxation and it's about openness. And this is necessary for good sex, especially for women. Not feeling secure, so lacking choice, feeling obligated to have sex, feeling so stressed that you can't get your to-do list out of your head, anticipating sex negatively triggers the sympathetic nervous response, and it is putting the brakes on your ability to get aroused. So I want to tell you a little story. A client, let's call her Rebecca, could not figure out why she had zero desire for sex at home, but they had great vacation sex. However, it was getting to the point that she was only being intimate with her husband a couple times a year on vacation, and they had started to schedule little getaways to be intimate because it just was not happening at home. And with the pandemic, they hadn't been intimate in almost a year because travel has not been so easy. She described their relationship, as being a great team, but something was putting her off being able to get turned on at home. After our VIP day, our investigation, our deep dive into the blocks that were keeping her from having this amazing vacation sex at home, we narrowed it down to two types of security. The first was emotional. Her husband worked a very high stress job and was now doing it from home. His job involved a lot of heated, high pressure meetings, phone conversations that were happening, and he was there all the time. These conversations, because he was working from home, seemed to be happening at any time of the day. He was failing to set kind of boundaries between work and home life. And she was never able to feel totally secure because she was always waiting for the phone to ring, and was turned off at the aggressive nature of her husband's position. He was flipping into work mode and not flipping out of it to be the man that she fell in love with. So his kind of aggressive nature was bleeding into their relationship at home, and it left her feeling unsafe, left her feeling on edge. Even he interrupted some of their sexual encounters to answer these phone calls. So on edge, sympathetic response, Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m., that became pretty much impossible for them both to shut off. And the second thing is that she felt guilty when her husband initiated sex and she didn't want to, as he wasn't handling the rejection well, which this is common for men and women. One of the reasons why I hear that women don't want to initiate is because they're scared of how it will be received, or they're scared of being rejected. Stay tuned to our next Girl Talk episode in this series, because we will unpack initiating sex. And for men, often if they're initiating and we say no because we're not in the space, we're in our sympathetic and we're not able to get turned on in the moment, sometimes they're not handling that no very well. So she was leaving herself really with two options: to have obligatory sex she wasn't really into, or feeling guilty that he was going to get cranky and short when she turned down sex. So home was no longer a safe place to rest, relax, share intimacy with her husband. And like I mentioned earlier, feeling obligated to have sex with your partner who is going to be pouty, angry, any negative emotion to your no. When we take choice out of the equation, and when we don't feel safe to be where we are at, then of course we don't want to have sex in these situations. If you are longing for better sex and a deeper connection in your relationship, you need to evaluate your sense of security and the types that you require to be able to attend, engage, be willing to put in the effort to relax and enjoy sex. Because let's face it, we have a lot to do, and these past 2 years have not been easy. We have normalized so many things: stress, overworking, high anxiety, being busy. It's almost like a badge of honor that people wear. It's no wonder that our nervous systems are on overdrive and shutting down our desire. In fact, the women that I work with don't know how to rest. They have a negative relationship with rest. They feel guilty. They're thinking of what they should be doing. Even if they're taking a bath or doing yoga, it's most often they're still active. It's not actually restful, but I still recommend taking the bath, even if you aren't completely relaxed. Better than nothing. Seek security. You need it. You deserve it. It is one of the essential elements for great sex. What areas can you feel more secure to receive the intimacy and connection that you deserve? What are the things that give you the feeling in your gut like you have to be on alert? It could be loud noises and overstimulation from the TV and multiple screens being on. This part takes introspection, and I recommend that you take this step before talking to your partner. Because if you are exhausted and burnt out and resentful, you might be hearing this and think, I'm going to go tell my partner that he needs to make me feel safer. And while this may be true, we need to do the internal work. We need to start by listening to your body when you get snappy, crusty, when you're on edge. What is your body trying to tell you? Where do you need to feel more secure? Then work with giving that to yourself. And then we can work with our partner to improve these areas of security so we can be more open and more able to respond and attune to intimacy. If you want to learn more about cultivating a fulfilling and satisfying sex life, join us on February 11th at 12 p.m. Eastern. I'm hosting a free live event for better sex. You can register at thepleasurecollective.com/better event. I hope to see you all there, because who doesn't want better sex in a more connected relationship? Please share with your girlfriends. See you there. Have a great week, everybody. If you like what you heard in this episode, leave me a rating. Your support helps me get discovered by more women like you. Together, we can change the conversation around women's sexual health and pleasure for you, your partners, and generations to come.